The Blood of Dawnwalker is an upcoming single-player, open-world action RPG set in the dark fantasy version of the 14th century Europe. Developed by Revelwolves, a studio founded by the former CD Projekt Red developers known for their amazing work in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The game emphasizes a strong narrative and a player-driven choices. Players assume the role of Cohen, a Dawnwalker caught between the humanity and vampirism, navigating a world where vampires have emerged from the shadows and claim power amid the chaos of war and plague. The game features a day and night cycle and non-linear quest design, with a 30-day in-game timeline influencing the storyline and outcomes. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, The Blood of Dawnwalker is slated to release for PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S. While a specific release date hasn't been announced, a gameplay reveal is anticipated during the summer of 2025. Now that the intro is done, I will say why I'm hyped about this game and why you should be too. The number one thing that caught my attention during this trailer of this game was the text reveal that the devs working on this game were previously on The Witcher 2 Wild Hunt. So that really gave me a point that I can really connect to, because Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is one of those best games that I always wanted to play and still play to this day. So any developer that really worked on those project can really give us something new that we can cherish in the future days. For that reason, I'm really invested in this game from that point on. The whole trailer gives a similar vibe to the trailer that came out for the DLC Blood and Wine for Witcher 3. You know, the basic vibe, ambience, even sometimes the background music are also appeared similar to me. However, that doesn't matter. Now, the another thing that initially piques our interest is that our main character, Cohen, is running away with his sister, who is infected by some sort of plague, and people are chasing them to kill the sister because they want to stop the spreading of the disease. And when Cohen is struggling with them, amid that chaos, vampire swoops in and kills all the people that were chasing Cohen and her and his sister. And finally, the vampire turns Cohen's sister into a vampire by feeding his blood. You know, the cliche setting by feeding you the vampire blood, a human is turned into one. So this thing happened, and this is the part where I found some similarities between this trailer and with the setting of that anime Demon Slayer, where the main character had a sister who's also been turned into a demon. I guess this will be the basic setting that the story will progress on, where Gwen will be set out for the journey where he will try to bring his sister back to humanity. I don't know if that's the case or not, but however, that can work out. Now, if I have to mention what the devs said during their live stream on Twitch, that they gave some interesting points to talk about. The vast thing is that they want to create a different side of the vampires, and for that reason, they added a detail to the vampires is that when the vampires' mouths are closed, you cannot spot their teeth, but when they open, their teeth will come out, and as the vampire will age, the number of teeth will also increase. You know, during the trailer, you can see that bald vampire has so many teeth, so that means he's very old and he's also very powerful. So this way they're trying to retell the story of vampires, because you know vampire is a very pop culture content and it has been explored so much that unless you can add something new to it, people will be bored with the same thing fed to them in different versions. So for that reason, they wanted to create a different versions of the vampires by giving them increased number of teeth as they age. Another thing that the devs say is that our main character, the Quen, will have a power of both sides. He can use his human side's power. Also, he will be also able to utilize his vampiric side. But to do that, he needs to keep himself well fed with human blood, because he is also partly vampire. And the way they explain that why he is a Dawnwalker is that our hero Cohen worked in a silver mine, and that silver poisoning while working in that prevented him from turning into a complete vampire, but that rendered him in a half state, half human and half vampire state. That also came in a blessing in disguise. So for that reason, he can walk in during the day, as the name suggests, and other vampires can't do that. So this has this one advantage our main character has. Another interesting part that this game has is that the quest will be designed in a non-linear way, like you know other RPG games. they try to give you a basic settings about what quest to be done next. If I have to draw some comparison with Witcher 3, if you follow the main quest will always tell you to do this and then follow that and do that next. So in this way, in this game, there will be no story main quest or side quest. You can do whatever you want, but ultimately all those decisions will culminate to a point where that you will find a different version of the story to you. And another thing that this game will have a 30-day and 30-night cycle. That means our time to explore and do all the things that we are supposed to do in the game is fixed, and we have to do our main quest, or I should say the main story, within this time limit. Otherwise our story or our quest will fail. So I don't know how this will work out, but this setting gives the number of advantages to the game, because you cannot do everything in this time frame. For that reason, this game will have an immense number of replayability, and I can clearly see that YouTube will be flooded with different endings and different story choices with this game because of this 30-day and 30-night cycle. And another thing the devs mentioned is that Cohen needs to be well fed. I have already mentioned about that, because if you did not keep your character well fed, he will turn insane and attack the close friends or family he is supposed to protect, and that will make you sad. So you have to keep yourself well fed, but you cannot overfeed too much. That will also be a morally vague decision, because you have to deal in the gray area. You are not bad, you are not good, both, and maintain a balance between in yourself, because your basic idea would be to protect your family or protect your sister in that regard from the vampires. So if I have to predict the story of this game, at the beginning of the analysis I already said, this will follow a basic setting of the anime Demon Slayer, where your basic goal is to get your sister back from the monster or the vampire side back to human. I don't know this game will follow that or not, but there's a high possibility that route will be taken, because that really connects with the people. When you put a family member into jeopardy or danger, it doesn't matter in real life or in video game, you'll always connect with the character and the motive he is doing that sort. So I guess this has the highest possibility that the devs will go for this story, where Cohen will try to overthrow the vampire sides and try to get his sister back, and in that way some tragic situations will happen. You will make some decisions, you will face the consequences of those decisions, and through this way game will progress. I think another interesting fact that will come later in the reveals, or you will find it fast and inside the game, because Cohen is a part vampire, so vampire blood is coursing through his vein. I guess in some way the main vampires or the enemies will use their ability to control the vampire blood in his veins to kill someone of his liking or a close family member. This will come inside the game, I am sure about that, and that will move our main character to some extent that he will commit some atrocities and to the vampire or the humans that resulted in that particular scenario. But I'm pretty sure, mark my word, there will be a part where through the mind control or through the blood inside his veins, Cohen will be made to commit some atrocity on his loved ones or family or friends, and that will really shake him to the core. So I guess that wraps up my view and all the things that I like. And I'll say I'm very much hyped about this game, and you should be too, because if the everything the devs are promising, I'm super hyped about this game, and I think you should be too, because if everything that the devs are promising, we will see the sandbox experience. Our choices will have different consequences. We can do different things, and there will be a very high amount of replayability value and no microtransactions, open world day and night cycle. So all these things can really give us a nice game. And if the story is strong enough, then people will just jump on it and continue to play, the same. I guess it can also be the next Witcher if everything is done correct, because the amount of hate, or I'll say skepticism, that Witcher 4 trailer got, I think the people and the fans of the Witcher are really divided, and they'll simply jump onto anything that gives them their original vibe to that they felt in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And another thing is that is developed by the old the Witcher 3 developers and the way in their stream that they say that they wanted to explore newer ideas where they and for those newer ideas they need independence, and for that reason their new studio Rebel Wolves is formed. I guess there will be some backlash about that too. However, I think this game can really have that same effect that Medal of Honor and Call of Duty had, because the Call of Duty developers were really previously worked on the Medal of Honor games, and that then later they already changed this first person shooting genre all on its heads by developing Call of Duty. So I pray that doesn't happen with the Witcher series, because Witcher 3 is, and especially the Witcher books are my favorite ones, and I really want to see this piece of media shine. However, you can never know what happens in the future. Nevertheless, I will follow this game, and I think you should be hyped about this too. And no gameplay footage is shown. There's a basic enemy, somewhat mechanized. I don't know what should I call it. There's a basic mechanized enemy jumps into it, and you are fighting with him with a sword, and a few glimpses of you were jumping from the roof and giving some slashes to people. So that sort of thing has been shown, but no actual gameplay footage has been shown during the trailer. But the devs promise that during the summer of 2025 more gameplay will come out. So I think you should keep this game on the radar. And if the promises that devs are making are kept, this game will really shine in the future. So that's all from my side. Let me know if you are hyped about this game or not. That's all from my side. And let me know if you guys are excited about this game or hyped about this game, or you will keep this game on your radar or not. And if you like my content, just subscribe to this channel, and see you in the next one.